Hello, welcome to mock trial. This is really a day one opportunity. We're just going to look at the fact pattern of the case that we used last year in competition. So this is not going to be the case that we will argue as a mock trial team in court this year. But we don't get that case until mid-August. So it's June now, and we have the opportunity to use the case we worked with last year to practice and to build our skills and to learn about mock trial. But please don't think that this is the case we'll actually argue in the court. We'll certainly be arguing it in our practices and in the law and order class to hone our skills, but it is not the fact pattern we'll use. But interestingly enough, this is a murder case, and the case we'll argue probably won't be a murder case. They only do one of those every 4 years. So let's just dive in. This is probably part one. We're probably not going to get through the whole fact pattern today in this session, but we want to just work through the fact pattern and make sure we understand the individual characters and roles, and we want to know what exactly happened. So if you're watching this recording and you're not here live, I strongly suggest you go ahead and pull up the trial brief that's available in PDF format, open up to page 7, and just read along with us as we're going through the California mock trial fact situation from last year. Okay. You'll notice first that the fact pattern has line numbers to the left. The reason for that is, well, it's 3 pages in length. And so you want to be able to, when we're working with it, just be able to say on line 12, Bailey asked Terry for. On line 16, Taylor's 16-year-old son, Michael. So direct your attention there. It makes it very smooth for people to move in and out of where the references that you're referencing in your discussion or your question, or if you're an attorney asking a witness on stage, on the witness stand, you might want to direct their attention, and you don't want them to sit there with the fact pattern and say, I don't know where it's at, I'm having trouble finding it. Well, I can't see it. And so that would be using up your time because you only have a limited amount of time to ask them questions. So that's why you see all those why you see those numbers there, because you want to be able to say to the witness on the stand, I direct your attention to line 18 of the California mock trial fact situation. And that way, if the person is saying, I don't know, you say, Judge, will you tell the person to be responsive? So it gives you an opportunity to really control the ebb and flow of your questioning, as well as allows us to be able to work with the material in an easier fashion. So let's dive in. Bailey Matsumoto. Notice the name Bailey can either be male or female. So we can have people play roles not based on gender. And then we are not limited that way. And so we can identify people to play whatever role they want, and they don't have to feel gender specific. And so you'll notice all the names, while they may initially be names that you think are gender specific, if you think about it, they are not. So let's go. Bailey Matsumoto is the founder of a startup for self-driving trucks. Bailey had previously worked in the entertainment industry as a script writer and producer. Taylor, later Taylor Matsumoto, implying that Taylor would marry Bailey. Well, Taylor worked as Bailey's technical advisor, providing expertise on Bailey's scripts and films focused on science and technology. Bailey's films were not successful at the box office, so Bailey decided to pursue an alternative plan to create a startup for autonomous trucks. Autonomous trucks meaning trucks that are self-driving, don't require a driver to drive the vehicle. Seeing Taylor's expertise in technology, Bailey asked Taylor to join the startup. Bailey and Taylor left the entertainment industry to focus on the startup. Bailey put all of Bailey's savings into the startup. So we've got Taylor joining Bailey, Bailey putting all of his savings into this new company. Pretty straightforward so far, and we've got two characters, Bailey and Taylor. Well, Bailey and Taylor, Bailey and Taylor quickly developed a romantic relationship and were married in October of 2018. After the marriage, Taylor and Taylor's 16-year-old son, Michael, moved into Bailey's mansion at 2349 Chandler Drive in Hollywood Hills. So their relationship blossomed and became a marriage. Bailey had inherited this mansion about 2 years before that. So they move into this mansion. Desi, new character, bing, 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 new character, Desi, Bailey's cousin and only surviving relative, also lives in the mansion. Oh, so Bailey's got a relative, the cousin, who inherits the mansion. Bailey, not Desi, but where's Desi living? In the mansion. All right, getting a little bit more interesting. So while the relationship between Bailey and Taylor started out wonderfully, like all marriages do, it quickly became strained by a tragic accident. Whoa, okay, what happened? Taylor often dropped Michael off at his high school, located 2 miles from the mansion. One morning in January 2019, when Taylor and Bailey were at an investor meeting for their startup, right? They're trying to get money for this autonomous truck business that they're starting. They're at this meeting, and while they're there at this meeting, Michael rode to school on a prototype self-driving scooter. Prototype. What is a prototype? A prototype is the experimental version of something that can be turned into more of the vehicles. It's the sample. It's the unfinished product. But Michael's taken this prototype of a scooter that belonged to Bailey without Bailey's permission. On the way, the self-driving scooter malfunctioned. Michael rammed into a building, and he was immediately killed by the impact. So who is dead here? Taylor's son that had moved in with Taylor and Bailey. Okay, that's one death. Well, after the death of Michael, Taylor was incredibly sad and developed a strong disdain for autonomous technologies. Makes sense. Her son had just died in the crash of the prototype. So to help cope with the grief, Taylor founded an organization called Parents Against Autonomous Driving, PAD. Whoa, it's one thing to be unhappy or lose your vision for the autonomous driving vehicles. Remember, they still have a business, Bailey and Taylor, and their business is to build autonomous vehicles. And now Taylor has created the organization against autonomous driving. Wow. Well, Taylor became a vocal advocate for the cause and was frequently invited by the media to speak about the dangers of autonomous technologies. There's a little bit of a conflict of interest here. Bailey is still hard at work at the autonomous company trying to develop this business, while his wife is now the founder of an organization that is against autonomous driving vehicles. This is a problem. Well, several potential investors watched Taylor's interviews on news channels and expressed to Bailey their worries about the future of the startup. Say, hey, your spouse is holding interviews talking about how dangerous these things are. We're investing in the company. What's going on here? It's not just some random person. Your spouse is the organizer of the organization that's against autonomous vehicles. PAD was endorsed by several congresspersons across the country. So it's not even just a random organization. This is an organization that's becoming powerful and recognized as a strong voice against autonomous vehicles. So Bailey and Taylor frequently would argue over one another's involvement. You can absolutely see how this makes sense. Bailey and Taylor began to sleep in different rooms. All right. Hey, what are you doing? This is the type of thing that killed Michael, our son, or my son. You shouldn't be pursuing this anymore. Well, it was an accident. It wasn't meant to happen. You shouldn't have taken the prototype. This is an industry moving forward. And you could see how this would cause tremendous strain in the marriage. And they wind up sleeping in different rooms. Bailey slept in the bedroom by the movie room, and Taylor slept in the master bedroom. And I think that's a good place for us to pause and stop. It's 11:15. This is a good part one. A lot of facts here. You can see the tension building. You can see what the problem is. You can maybe even begin to predict what might be happening or what might ultimately happen. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Part two we'll look at tomorrow. But for those of you who are here, let's have a little conversation about the facts. Okay? Thank you.